Good morning and welcome to today's live show. Today we're going to be going over a few things this morning with the potential good news that's coming out, and we'll have to find out if that's another lie. But the good part here is it came from the more trusted Besant, so we can understand that. Trump's kind of the guy that's saying things that aren't exactly true. We don't know for sure if they are. We don't know if China's lying about some stuff about talks or anything like that. But we could say that they are fibs, and people really trust Besant more, so this is a good thing. Notice that we are heading to the downside, but we're going to go over some things in a brief moment, and we will be live just a little bit earlier today before the close, right? We're doing the closing streams here on YouTube instead of over on Rumble for the time being for the month of May. So come join us later. Make sure you leave a like on this. Come join us later for the Jerome Powell, right? We'll look for Jerome Powell around an hour and a half before the close. We'll look at that last hour of the day. Let's talk about last night a little bit. So last night we were talking about how we were really just making a video like you need that tangible good news. If you get any kind of tangible good news, not trap news, and this still could be trap news for the time being, right? All of this, everything that we talk about here is going to need to be taken into consideration of this gap down here. Okay, everything is going to come down to what the heck is going on right here, because if we're saying we're going to go take care of that now, that's a good thing. If we end up leaving it behind, which the post-market and pre-market price action is really just saying like we have the ability to continue this move right now. That's what it's saying for the time being. We'll have to see if it curls down and things fail, but for the time being, we need to understand that this is here. And if we leave this behind now, and we see that news is actually really good, and FOMC doesn't just ruin everything to go fill that gap real quick, this is still a possibility, right? But as of right now, you've gotten some updates. So that means if we end up in the upward direction, I would be looking for big moves down and look for upside into what? Into options expiration. If we start to see that, if we see this high taken out, you're looking towards 580 by Friday close. And then after that, you're most likely going to see that sell on Monday that then pumps this thing possibly all the way up to your monthly expected move. That's how bullish this can be if you actually just get some of that good news that isn't actually a lie, that isn't a flip-flop in some way. We don't know if this is a flip-flop, right? The meeting is today. We'll see, or the talk is supposed to happen today. But this is the truth of it. And then after this, the reason that we're mentioning this gap right now is if we do not fill this week, then I think we will see the sell in May and go away kind of thing happen here before we're able to make another move higher. I think we will get that sell in May and go away moment possibly after. Yeah, I think it would be after the options expiration unless we see this break down too far, unless we go down to this gap right away. I don't think this would be the move. Yeah, I don't think we'd go fill that gap on the Monday, but I'm more leaning towards this, some kind of big upside move into the end of the week with the information that we have right now, with the understanding that we have FOMC, right, and things can fail. Taking into consideration our rules for management of trades, taking into consideration our plan for if something goes wrong. But this can be a very, very bullish thing, and all you need to do is really take out this high and probably retest it, actually. So you probably want to see this burst up, retest in that area, see the big move, see something like this, possibly going into Friday close. So we'll see from here. Now we're going to go into the shorter time frames, but I really just wanted to pencil in like, hey, if we don't take care of this gap now, watch for us to take care of that gap by the end of May. Okay, that's one. Now let's go into a 5-minute chart, right? We've been looking at 5-minute charts lately, and we were talking about this zone yesterday and how we lost it. That's not a good sign. We were talking about the futures or the post market coming down and breaking this low. That is not a good sign, which means the door potentially could still be open. And then you get good news that goes boom, and you take out this high and you react into this block. And I want to show you guys what happened with this overall block up here. So what we're going to do is we're going to make another one, and we're going to come up to pretty much the resistance point. We're going to go like this. And no matter how I adjust it, even if I include only the bulk here, if I include only to here, if I include all the way to the top, it doesn't matter. The thing that we're really paying attention to is how much strength did this overall move get? And you got enough strength that you could just be in a retrace right now to do what? To retest the breakout. And this actually could end up being some form of opportunity right away in the morning. So if this is going to continue, we should see support here, and we potentially will go make a new high soon throughout the day. So what we're trying to see now is we have the series of lower highs, lower lows, and now we've broken through to make a higher high, and we want to see if that makes a higher low. Exactly where we would want to be is right here, right now. This means that right here is potentially an opportunity, weirdly enough. If this news if this news isn't some kind of lie, right? We've seen Trump flip-flop like 3 times. Probably more than that. We've seen a lot of, yeah, we're talking to China. China's like, you're not talking to us. Yeah, we're doing deals with China. China's like, no, you're not. Oh, China's really suffering right now. China's like, no, we're not. We're fine. And so that's something that I'm just paying attention to, is the fact that we need this news to actually be real, to actually see those negotiations taking place. That solidifies it. And you see the reaction just from maybe it's real. Imagine we know it is real. Do you understand? Do you see what I'm putting down? You want to do a bullish bearish poll? We can do a bullish bearish poll. I'm down for that. But do you guys smell what I'm stepping in? Like, that's just, this right here is just the hey, we have a top, same thing as always, right? Hey, we have but it's from Besant, and I think that's why you're getting this big reaction. Besant is the known, I think right now with how people treat it, Besant is like your truth teller, right? I think Besant's like your truth teller. Trump's kind of flip-floppy. So the only way we dump is if we need to take care of business first. If we need to take care of business first, right? The 2 hour still pulling back. So we'll see if the 2 hour is able to confirm, but just notice here, big move. I think you could probably retrace this. This is probably golden pocket. You're literally right in golden pocket. You're right at the center of the previous block, the important block that we broke through to show us downside. Now we're going into the center of that. You're at a solid retrace of the overall move from last night. This means there's a lot of good things that can happen here. Now, is this in the regular market? No. So we still want to see these things taken out in the regular market, right? We want to see this taken out during the actual day. That would be a good thing, right? We'll see if that's able to take place. And then the key thing is we got to beat out that high. And if we do all of that before filling this gap, right? Before filling the gap, then we have to understand that that's still there. And whatever run that we get here, potentially 2580, maybe even by Friday, I'm being genuine about that. If this news is real and FOMC does not, if this news isn't a lie is the best way to put it. If this news isn't a lie and FOMC doesn't absolutely tank the market and send us down to where? 545, well, then either way, it looks like we're heading in the upward direction, at least going into options expiration, May 16th, like OpEx. So as of right now, we're testing into this area, and we're saying, okay, you can't see it, but this high was just taken out. We'd like to see that during market hours, except it's going to look a lot different during market hours. You might see this, and then you might be retracing into here, and then you might head to the upside. That would be a great way to head higher. So we'll see how this shapes up. It is FOMC day, so we have a lot of things to pay attention to. And then at the same time, is the risk gone? Is all of the risk gone? And I would have to say no with how volatility is behaving right now. Now, this could be triple topping in some way, but you don't really know that. You can't really say that until you see this thing curl down, and it's very close to the center line. So if this curls down, then I think we're getting that 2 hour push at the least to come down and fill this gap. And then we're going to watch out for reactions. If you want this to remain bullish over time, then you want this to break down further and get those reactions and start to get below 20. That would be fantastic. But I think you're due for a sell on Monday, I believe. I think Monday would be a sell or some kind of profit taking. So if we kind of just see this thing drag out to the downside all week down till Friday, and then we see that reaction up, you would still have that divergence point pretty close to the center line. So this is why Monday I would watch out if we're going to see positivity, because we are seeing positive thing. But volatility right now is curled up on the 30-minute, which means there is still risk of more to the downside. But as of right now, just looking at the extended hours, looking at the 5-minute and understanding that the trend is trying to change here is kind of a big deal. We don't look at extended hours all the time. We want it proven in the real market here during the trading hours, but that's how I'm seeing it at this point. So we can start up some kind of pull. Close Friday. Let's do this. Close Friday. Bullish or bearish. Let's do that. You like the bull or bear? Okay. Bullish. Bearish. Start that poll. Something we'll keep our eye on is we didn't get the biggest reaction yet from the dollar. I still want a good reaction from the dollar here as well. We did not necessarily see that. We still have the 10-year yield that could be affected by today. So we're watching it because this thing is curled up, and all it needs is one, flake of, hey, we're not going to do 4 cuts this year. We're gonna do 1, we're gonna do 2, and this thing starts to move in the upward direction. So this can move today. It can move today. All right, we got that little pull up there. Looks like it's 50-50 right now, which is just great. So it's, are we going to, in the shorter time frames, be able to hold up at that retracement, be able to hold up where we need to? As of right now, I mean, just look at this real quick. You'll see that support come in there. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? That's pretty dope. So we got to see how it behaves. It needs to break back out, and we need to now get through probably this right here. Probably that right there. Let's go, Pumpy. Pumpy dip. Yeah, very cool, though, to see that support come in right where it needs to. So that's a good sign. Got to see if the rolls start to happen, but understand there's a gap down there. Just be aware, right, Rocky? AMC earnings today. Yeah, we got AMC earnings today. AMC, some great looks, really. Not bad at all. We can see here that this is divergence. This is double bottom. This is double bottom divergence. And what did you do here, right? What would have signaled more downside? If you saw a wick kind of go like this, take out that low, that can actually signal more downside possible with like a reaction and then a late reaction to go down later, which is actually something with the SPY we probably talk about, right? We can probably talk about that peeking its head up there. But for the time being, this is a double bottom. You actually would measure from the closing bars right there, actually. And you notice that if we drag it across, you see a closing below. That means that this is in the downward direction. While what is the MACD looking like? It's up, 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 up on the RSI. It's pretty intense, but this is a great signal. I'm just going to let you know. This is a great signal for potential like investment and things like that, right? You have multiple forms of divergence. You have, I think you have a weekly chart, right? That looks like it just curled up with what? Potential divergence, very, very steep because it's a freaking wonky ass stock. But still, for the time being, you're down at these levels where you last saw a reaction. And now look at you. Straight across, double bottom, curled up, go positive. And guess what? The monthly scale is going to start to scream. The monthly scale can start to do this. So it's all going to be dependent on earnings. I'm not someone who's saying, oh yes, AMC has to go to 1 million tomorrow. I'm saying that the signals right now are suggesting that these are good things, but we also understand this E right here is a big deal because that could be kind of a 50-50 flip depending on what they say. And really, this Adam Aaron and stuff like that, I think he's got to stop bringing up like COVID and things like that. It's like, okay, dude, it's done. Like, we get it. I understand. Let's just show how the business is doing better and show the plans for the future, right? I think that would be a better idea for their earnings. Project good things with Lilo and Stitch, because you bet your ass I'm going to go see it. I have a Stitch tattoo. Of course I'm going to go see it. What do you think I am? Have we covered Tesla? No, we're kind of mainly focusing on the SPY for the time being. But Tesla is still in the range, right? Still in the range. But just notice, we did get good news. As of right now, we would treat it as good news, but you see the hesitation, I think. I think you're seeing the hesitation right now because so much good news has turned into flat news, right? So, and Todd, look at that. I brought out fibs this morning. I'm pretty sure the retracement happening in the morning here Looks pretty good. So what's going on with this? We have to be aware of rejections now. Why? Because you're negative, right? So what you want to see is strength here. What you really want to see is the 2-hour be able to curl up into positive territory. So something that you'll look for here from Tesla is you're pretty much in a zone of your own right now. You're in a zone of your own, right? So if you mark off that you're in a zone of your own right now, usually you're like looking at that resistance and stuff. Right now you're in a zone, just like straight up creating a range. We can take the low point if we want. We can rise it up higher. It doesn't really matter. For the time being, we'll include all of it. What you notice now is you're in the bottom side of the block. So if I'm in the bottom side of the block and I just saw the middle used as resistance, I'm kind of leaning in the downward direction. And guess what? My MACD being negative kind of agrees with me. Okay? So what you need to see from Tesla is be able to take back 283, use that as support in some way, and then get that breakout moment, right? Maybe even retesting that point again before heading higher. All right? That's what it seems like as of right now. You do have a gap to fill here. You have a gap to fill here. So it would be very good for price to get there, fool around, get outside of that, come back in, and then head to the upside. That'd be fantastic for Tesla. If you want to treat it very simply, though, 2-hour curls up, you're going to the upside weekly expected move. You want to know the most simple way to think about this for a trade setup is literally treat it like a swing trader. And you go, okay, if I see a 2-hour bar confirm like this, above all of this in here, and that, maybe I even go early and I say management of the trade is going to be if the 30-minute rolls, right? If the 30-minute rolls, that would be the management. And then we just say, okay, if that 2-hour crosses up after that, that's just going to be a good thing, right? That's going to make me feel more comfortable, and I'm still looking for the failure of this trade. And then we see that move up, watch for the retest, and then we're probably going higher. Oh, whoops, I just drew everywhere. But that's what I'd be really, if I'm simplifying it. I do not trade Tesla. I pay attention to Tesla. I think it's a great indication of like retail and things like that. But I don't necessarily trade Tesla very often. The IV is too high. Things too expensive there. So for the 5-minute for today, what are we overall looking for? Well, we're looking if this little area right here can hold as some sort of support for the time being. All right, and we're just going to stay on 30-minute charts for just right now. We're going to stay on those 30-minute charts and see if we're going to use that to head higher. Halted before any. Oh, great. How do you think about Microsoft holding this gap, feeling like longer outputs are a lock? Well, I would say this about the ones with massive gaps. What have they been doing right now? And what are your MACDs shaping up to? What are you seeing in front of you? Is it moving sideways? And this is kind of the point. Is it moving sideways enough that you could call it a pullback with time? A pullback with time. Well, we would maybe need to move sideways even longer here. Even longer. Okay, this means maybe it is Microsoft, which actually you might want to put some extended hours in there and see what happened. Okay, yeah, very good sideways. But for the time being, you would say, okay, we're testing the 5. That's a good sign. Looking at the 30-minute, what's that? Oh, okay, we haven't even gotten the second swing up for a 30-minute. So that means very, very likely to do what? Very likely for this to get to about 447, we'll say 447.60. If this 30-minute can find that support, you do not lose this in any fashion. If you don't lose this at all this week, then it's kind of like impossible to do this right now, right? You'd have to lose that, use this level as resistance, and then head down again. I think eventually you're going to fill this gap, by the way. I think you're going to fill this gap. It's just a matter of when. I think you're more likely to see, especially if we have that good news behind all of this, we could see Microsoft be a little bit more lackluster or dulled and just kind of see squeezing. But I would say going into the 16th, if this news is not a lie, that's going to be key. Is this news not a lie again? Is Trump going to come out and be like, oh, okay. Or is China going to come out and be like, we're not talking a percent? If that's happening, then it's a little different. But if this news is solidified, right, that's the big thing. We keep talking about trap, and yesterday we were talking about trap news, and you know what we were saying with trap news? Oh, we literally said Trump flip-flops, right? Okay, Trump flip-flops. He's like, yeah, we're talking to China. China's like, no, we're not. So we need to understand that people won't have too much faith right away. They need to see the process happening, I think. They want it proven to their eyes, to their, they want it reported. And I think that's the big deal. So for stocks like this, I think you're looking at daily timeframes and you're more so going, okay, this has seen a big move. Is this really the opportunity then? Is that like right now, is this the opportunity? Yeah, it can do this. It can get all the way up to I would say potentially 455. If this news is real, 455 and some, maybe even 467.50. I think it could get there by OPEX next week if this news is actually legit. Right? I'm going to keep saying it because I don't trust any news right now. So if that were to take place, it adds more credibility to the sell in May and go away. Right? We see the upward move into OPEX. After OPEX, maybe we see a little climb higher, and then you just start to just tank this to go fill that gap. And everyone says crash, and you're just going retest. I think that's going to be a lot of what's going on here. So as of this morning, this would tell us, based on looking at the, say, post or pre-market this morning, and using this as support here, this can be a good thing, and this might be a retracement already, as you have taken out that high in the pre-market, well, or last night, at least in the futures. It would just say, pay attention if we see this start to reject, or if this is the futures kind of retracing, and then you're able to see another upside move. Pretty much today, you want to take this out. Best case scenario, you take this out. Today, you want to take this out. Good case scenario, you take this out and you see a pullback. Best case scenario, you surge through this. But what are you guys thinking? SPY 555. Are you feeling bullish or bearish? I mean, technically, you'd have to be, at least in the context of news, you would have to be a little bit bullish. In the context of, do you trust it right now? You'd be like, okay, I'm not necessarily the most, I'm still neutral, right? Have I seen the thing that really convinces me, like, yes, we are going to 581, right? Have I seen the thing for that? No. Technically, no. Have I seen reversal signals that suggest that in the regular, what is it, in regular trading hours? No. But do you know very easily what could happen in order to tell me that that's going to happen? Is you do this. You take this out, you come back into it, everyone thinks you're doing this, and you still can. That's why we'll watch it very seriously. But everyone thinks we're doing that. You just go like this. And we actually drew this multiple times yesterday. I could literally go find it, but I think we drew it in the video too. We were like, this can still happen. But you'd like that to hold up better if you're bullish, right? Kind of showing. Here, let me make this in green, by the way. I can't see it as well in red. So that's kind of how you would assess this right now. The problem with today is you're going to get very muted reactions. Why? FOMC, right? So we're going to get muted reactions potentially right now, right? People have just seen this. They've just seen this going into the Fed. That's not necessarily going to be like, oh yeah, now I want to just say that that's going to go up. So it would be very interesting for us to just do this. This is where I have a lot of disagreement with people that I trust. Some people that I trust are overall saying like, we're going to build up here all day. I don't necessarily see that just yet, just based on what's happened and reading into the psychology of the average trader. You would more so be like, it kind of doesn't make sense if you saw a sell-off and then you just guess it's going to be good all of a sudden, right? Everyone was kind of selling into all of this. No good news. You get good news, but now they're going, oh, but FOMC's today, right? So overall, this is don't sleep on the fact that this is actual real good news. And we just need to see if it's another lie. And I think that's why you're getting hesitation. I think the other reason is FOMC. Apple dumping, good. Go to 196. This is great. Remember what we said about Apple. What did we want from Apple? We wanted Apple to mess around more, right? We wanted it to mess around more. What'd you get? More messing around. You never curled down. That's very good. Why? Look at the MACD extending higher. Extending higher. Very, very good. Now what do we want to see? Which, like, gaps and stuff like that, you can treat as zones as well. Yeah, gaps you can treat as zones as well. But we want to see what? We want to see this, maybe even sweep that, go down into here, and we want to see it form that divergence point. We want to see it hold the tapering, curl down, curl back up. Right? This is what gets the 2 hour back and kicking and able to go positive. This is the type of look you'll see to get this 2 hour back and kicking. Which means what? Apple could be a potential opportunity soon. Right? Now look at the daily scale. Look at the daily scale. It looks really risky, doesn't it? It looks really risky if you zoom out to here. Really risky. You're going, wow, this could be awful, right? So this means what? If this looks really risky, I am perfectly okay with waiting for confirmation and then understanding right away to have a plan for if it goes wrong. Okay? This means we could see further sell-off for Apple right now. That would be actually a good thing in my opinion. If it holds up, that's probably better, right? We're not going to sweep that low. But if we can see something like this, that's how you build back over time. And you'll see that divergence down here. And then you'll just watch for anything super risky around this area, right? If this dip starts to go, ooh, like through this low again, through that low again, ooh, like this, you might go, oh, let me wait on that for a second, right? So to me, Apple looks like potential opportunity as long as something unknown isn't going on right now in the background and we're not going to see like this gap filled and revisit the lows, right? We do have China. We have the negotiation with China right now. That is an overall good thing. If that negotiation, for whatever reason today, the first start of talks, I don't even think it's negotiation, but the first start of talks goes poorly today, you know who's not going to be happy? It's going to be Apple. It's going to be Apple. But let's just really look at as well where Apple is reacting to. If you look, even on the daily right here, you can kind of see resistance, 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 support right there, potential resistance, resistance, gap. Okay, so this little area right here, you can see it from the wick too right here. This little area right here, you can see it from the little gap right here too. This little area right here is what you broke out from. And this is potentially just a what? A 2 hour retest. Did we have the major signals that said down, down, down? No. We did reject off of the bottom here, which is bad, but we left behind what? A gap. Awesome. So if I see any reversal signals here whatsoever, and they confirm that daily is not going to be able to keep rolling, it's going to start to do what? It's going to start to reject. So if I can get this 30-minute divergence, that can give me a hint. If I don't, I can see a 2 hour curl up. Was this on the Thursday? Where did this open on Monday? On Monday, we opened here, so your range was made from here. This means that you have room to go to here. That would be good. That might be the full trade right there, though. This might be the full trade right there. If it shapes up for you and everything goes well, that might be the trade by Friday from 197, 198, maybe even 196 later, all the way to 217 by the end of the week. That might be the trade right there. Pretty good. SPY, we see that upside coming. Once again, if we go up, let's see. If we see this before FOMC, be prepared for this on Thursday, the retest, as a retail trap maybe, and then we start to boom. We have to look at earnings and things like that too throughout the next few days, but very, very good. Buffett not eating Apple, he just knows the risk going into 2026 now. I don't think you guys realize how crazy this moment is. Like to get that kind of almost resolution, if we actually get it, by the way. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yes, Trump has flip-flopped 5 times on his, he's embellished multiple times with China. So all of a sudden I'm just going to believe something that Bessent says. I'm like, I think Bessent is more truth-telling, right? Because when Trump was saying, what was Trump saying? He was like, yeah, we're meeting with China like every day, remember? And Bessent, they asked Bessent, he's just like, yeah, we haven't talked to China like at all. So yikes. Sorry, Trump, we haven't talked to them at all. Well, that guy who called him out and went against him because he's being, say, less embellishing, more baseline honest, you would say. Probably logically honest. He doesn't really care if the market pumps. He wants to make sure he's doing a good job. I think Trump knows. I think Trump knows that the bond market risky. So I think he's embellishing. But you see, there's been so much embellishment that I think people are really going to wait and be like, is this thing real? Is this thing real? Is this thing real? And if some good news comes out again, you might not even see the dump on Thursday morning. You might see this sell off in the last hour and a half of the day today. And then we get that good news, and that's all that it gets. And this thing gaps up the next day on Thursday going into tomorrow. It just depends on the strength we see here, though. Right? We don't want to get overzealous. What do I have right now? If you want to know, with this dip right here, this right here, I had an order for calls there. Looks like went through. That's good. We're heading up. That's great. And what I wanted to do was say, we are going to hit 581.92 by when? Did I only give myself 3 days? No, pretty much I said, okay, we're going to hit 581, 582. Let's just round up. 582 by next Friday. I think we'll hit that definitely by next Friday. And the thing is, if this trade goes boom, if it goes anywhere past 570, I am perfectly fine with selling it. I'll make my money. I'll just make it early. Because I am targeting the 571 strike. 571 strike. Now, if this rolls here, do you think I'm going to hang on to it? If we do this, if we take into consideration the pre stuff going on, a little bit of pre, if we do this, I'll probably be out. If we lose this zone, I'm out. My kind of like my stop loss, if you will. My management of risk, my management of the trade plan here is just, if we lose this, I'm out. Because if we lose this, we might be going down to here. If we lose that, we might be going down to gap fill. So that's my plan for the trade, just if you wanted my mindset going into this right now. Solid reaction here. This might be the dip you get. We'll see. Really wanted to see more, actually potentially more upside, but AMD saw kind of, we were suggesting positive reaction with earnings. Like, I still say 50-50 flip. For the time being, I don't know if AMD's like as bad as this is suggesting right now. We take into consideration where it needs to get to, and we take into consideration what it doesn't want to lose. We can make what? Well, we can make a big zone here. I'm going to make a big one. It's not, big ones sometimes aren't the most helpful, but it'll give you a great sense of direction. So if you see you're remaining in this zone, that's a good thing. We can see flash moves outside of it. You really just don't want like the flash move, set a trap here, and then reject again. That would be probably scarier. Or even reacting down to here, getting a bounce, right? Seeing that almost head and shoulders like look. So what you want to see here from AMD is you want it to hold price here, or at least show that it can get above that, right? Get a wick, get something to show that we can get up here, right? Then whatever happens starts to become better, right? You get that room. So as of right now, are you like safe from, are you not, or is it very low probability to do this or even this? No, it's actually still high. You are not in the safety net yet. The safety net is where? Right here. Why? Because you're reacting to the top. Once you break through all of this, if you can break through all that, you're pretty much just going to surge here. You hope for the breakout, and then you hope to retest and keep this thing going. But I do see the sell in May and go away still happening. So we have to see when that's actually going to take place. Right now, after options expiration, Oh, look at that. It gives it up. Goes right back down. Now I have to watch my freaking trade. I'm down. Yeah, Mr. Joshua, tell me your thoughts too. Spy's losing? Is Spy losing? Oh, you came back down for another test. You don't, after you get one or two retests, I don't think you want to see a third, a fourth, a fifth. It's kind of like beating a hammer against a brick wall. Eventually it starts to chip away at it, and eventually you break through. Yeah, you don't want it to test it 5 times, because on the 5th time on the 4th time you're more likely to break it. On the 5th time you're more likely to break it. That's why Tesla, I keep saying, I just do not see a world that it cuts out this area. If it cuts out this area, we're probably going through something really bad. Because look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. It got weaker, weaker, weaker. But guess what? It turned up, showing you the positivity. And you go, okay, this is great. You've retested this level multiple times, and it's held, right? The more you test a level and it holds. If it tests it 5 times and then goes up, that's a good thing. It's just scarier on the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th test. So this would be a 5th test of the lows. I don't have a lot of confidence in the 5th test for Tesla to test these lows. That's what I'm getting at there. Same thing is happening, I believe, on your 5-minute chart right now, right? Another test. Say, I know it's a 5-minute chart, so take this all. This is probably all, I would say 1 test, maybe 2 if you're a day trader. Hold on 1 second. Let me change some stuff around here. We got Pow Pow. We got Mr. Pow Pow later today. Mr. Pow Pow. Mr. Pow. Pow. Huge, huge, huge. Yeah, we just want to see it proven. We want this taken out today. Okay, let's see. Looking to do 0 DT options on the SPY today. Thought brother up or down, going to buy in the money. I mean, I can't tell you what to do on that end, right? I'm not a 0 DT kind of guy, just to be honest. Going up, going down, you have FOMC. You got good news last night. I would lean personally in the bullish direction, but I'm not, my money is to the upside now. But we're still in the critical area. Notice nothing really, not too much, right? It has changed, but in the regular trading hours, it hasn't changed. What did you do from the regular trading hours? Well, all you did was leave behind another gap, which if we leave this one behind and this one behind, and we go up to 580, or even on the 16th, 591, your percentages are going to be saying down. And where would you gravitate to at that point? I think you're looking at the sell in May and go away if we make it up there. And I think you're going to see a sell into the later stages of the month. It could be pretty fast. And then you'll leave maybe gaps behind here as well. But you're going to come take care of this business. And actually, sell in May and go away. Let's talk about that, by the way. So sell in May and go away is actually when we could see the testing of the lows. If you see this and then this, I would not be saying that's a great retest. What I want to do is slowly get there, right? I want to see this thing, see a move up, see a move down. I want us to stop here or here, start to see upside in June, maybe make a double top, then come down to those lows, form what we need to form, and then head to the upside. Either that, either this, right? Or I would like to see us hold price better. Hold price better, hold price better. I want to see us hold it the whole way. I want to start that bullish channel, right? I want to start that bullish channel right now. That's how I see it. We'll see how it plays out. You know, I'm never right when I draw these lines, right? It never happens exactly how you map it out. It never does. It literally never does. You know, sometimes in the 30-minute time frame, you can get it right for a few days. In the daily time frame, you can get it right for a few weeks. But to read into months away from now, I think you're more looking like the fall trap would be revisit those lows. If this is going to be bullish, right? If this news is real, then technically we shouldn't revisit those lows. We would have to see something very unseen to revisit those lows. Where do you get your daily expected moves from, and are they available earlier in the day? They're available every single night for the daily expected moves, and they're on Patreon. I calculate them myself. And I put the weekly expected moves on Patreon, the monthly expected moves on Patreon, and the daily expected moves are given out every single night on YouTube. Even if you don't want to watch the video, if you think they're helpful to you, you don't like, you know, my commentary, my opinions, that's perfectly fine. I understand. I don't care. As long as you find something helpful from my channel, that's a good thing. So if daily expected moves are helping you and you want those, but you don't want to get my commentary, just click on the video real quick, go to the SPY, look for those red lines, go to the Qs, look for those red lines. And we also have the daily expected moves down there in the bottom right corner during the early stages of during the live show. We'll leave them up the whole time. All right, great stuff so far. Still technically did not fill the gap correct yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, close 563.53, high 563.34. So you were about 20 cents off. So you still have a gap above. No, I don't. I really don't. I just hope that something if you're going to click into this, you know, I just hope something here can be helpful to you. That's it. Just seeing a lot of movement during after hours and wanting to maybe try swings overnight. Yeah, so normally the YouTube video is posted about 2 hours after the close, which is about when the post market is opening up. I have to give it time for the IV to settle in. Boxes and middle lines are game changers. Hey, see, you know, and the thing is, we've talked about those zones and stuff, and normally we mark it off like resistance, right? So normally, what would we be marking off more times than not? Actually, this zone is very, very nice. This is actually how we would mark off this block down here. But a lot of the times we would shrink that up and just say, okay, it looks something like this. So what we're doing now is different. You're technically looking at retest zones and things like that, which now I have to go into my 30-minute to get that zone back. But yeah, we would most of the time mark off these. So if you watch the video about support and resistance in the course, the full technical analysis course, 80% off. Noticed a few people grabbed that last night. That's awesome. Glad to see it. If you guys are in here today, let me know. Make sure to ask questions and things like that. So with this box here, I believe we were taking up to this wick. right? And then we were including the bottom here. And we were just saying, okay, this is a great little zone for multiple reasons. One, it's a block. And two, it absorbs the resistance level that became support. That's why this zone is so good. That's why I think we'll revisit this level. Even if we see that scream to the upside and we get to 590, I think this is where we need to pay attention for the sell in May and go away crowd. And then I think if we can hold up here, I think you're going to see a summer rally. Yeah, so it is different. That's why I have to make a different video to put onto the full technical analysis course. But we are going to be putting out a video about this and kind of the difference between the two. But I'm glad it's helpful, right? I didn't really, you probably see me all the time just talking about things like this and being like, yeah, if we reject from the bottom side, I don't really draw the zones on my charts. If I showed you my charts right now, you're not going to see any zones because I just look at price action and I go, obviously, this would be weak to reject from. This would be pretty like neutral. But if we get above the center, you give the edge to the bulls regardless because it's a bullish market most of the time. And if you can break through this critical level, probably would be the best to break through. But this would be the absolute best thing to break through at this point. And then you have to look for the retest and see if everything remains good. Right? If you get there sporadically, you're always looking for the retracement. You're always, look at Palantir. If you do something like this, you're always looking for the retrace. Always. And what I would more so say is I wouldn't retrace from the absolute low in this case because it was so strong over time. I would more retrace from where the low was before we broke out. That's how I would do it personally. And I would say, okay, so I'm looking for here with the understanding of what the most dramatic this could get is down here. Okay? And this would be the best place, I think, for Palantir to get to, actually. But you notice how it can hold up at Golden Pocket at 102.50, which takes you right into that resistance that came in right here that you exploded through. So there's just a lot that can go into it. But more times than not, if you see this, even if it's going to continue in the future to be strong, you're looking for the retrace for the actual opportunity, right? The daily hasn't even confirmed down here. So what's going on with Palantir? I think the 2 hour is going to curl up. I think you're going to see that gap filled. I do. With the potential for good news here, if it remains good, the 30-minute, pretty damn deep, right? So maybe we see this first, or we see that type of thing, right? We retest this in some way. But I think you're going to end up seeing the 2 hour do something crazy here. I think you're going to see that thing go wham, 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 all by the 16th. And you're going to set up more divergences up high. But that's all in I think, right? I'm not trading Palantir. I want to be very honest. Like, I am not trading Palantir, right? I still believe that the actual good trade is here. I think we'll get the opportunity to short soon, and we'll be paying attention for that. If we end up going up all the way into the end of the week, I think there's a short for Monday. Monday, Tuesday. If we go up again into options expiration, I think the sell is after options expiration or a few days after. We'll see how it shapes up though, right? It's all dependent on that. 30-minute for the time being, we see that reaction down. That's the dip I was looking for this morning. And now we're seeing potential upsides start. So that's great. SPX, you're in the similar spot. More so looking at like a 2 hour chart, but the SPX, you're in a similar spot, right? The reason that SPX is bullish overall, even if we did this, it still would be bullish, right? It still would be bullish. We marked off the zone actually for the SPX. So this is great. But you can see how even if we dip down into here, you still saw this, right? And you're not losing price, like an absolute collapse or something. What you're more looking at still is like, do we get out of this zone and start to reject, right? Even if you come all the way down to here and curl up, that's still just 2 hour pullback, right? So this could be all the pullback you get. You're right at the 5. This started to turn down. You take that back. Hey, guess what? This starts to turn like that. You start to ride that up. You start to see things like this. That'd be a great thing. So once again, for the For the SPX, what level are you looking at there? 5840. 5840. You pull back, maybe down into here. Then you see that extend. You get to 59, maybe 5950, get that whole number going. And then you see that dump to go fill this. And then you see if that's the moment where you're going to fill all of this. If it is, I'm kind of worried about the market, right? I don't necessarily want to see that filled right now really fast after the upward move. Yeah. This is why we're doing a little bit more live video, so people can kind of read into this. Pretty much what you're seeing right now is a great learning opportunity where a lot of people will point out weakness that happened in the past, and they won't realize, a lot of people that point it out, they won't realize that the biggest thing in these type of areas is price action, and just, are you able to make the new high? Are you able to curl up here and show that there is still strength? Show the buyers stepping in at a higher point. That is the big deal here. And a lot of people ignore that fact and just say, oh, we went into this block and then we turned down in 2022. Oh, we went into this block and we turned down in 19 whatever. You have to understand that everything can be different every single time. That's why the phrase is, you know, what is it? It's history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes or something like that. That's true with stocks. You want to treat every single move as mutually exclusive. Do we know what you guys know what mutually exclusive means, right? And then we'll get into some other stocks, but I just want to be very clear about this. I was just like, I don't care. I really don't. I want you to get something that's helpful to your trading from this channel. That's the biggest thing for me. That's the whole reason for this channel. Mutually exclusive, by the way, just real quick, mutually exclusive means just because this happened doesn't mean this has to happen again. If you see a coin flip heads, the percentage does not change to now you have to hit tails. It is still, say, 50-50. Right? Every single move is its own percentage. So when people try to bring up the past, we can see similarities. We can see warning signs that are similar, but they're almost never exactly the same. Okay? CVNA. Let's go look at some stuff this morning. Oh, God, it's got earnings. It has earnings. I don't like this wick right here. I really don't like that wick right there. Right? I would have liked to see a dump with that wick to scare people out of earnings. Then I think you had more of a shot to go up. We have sneaky gaps down here at 244, which means they can come grab that liquidity, right? You can see sporadic moves in both directions with earnings. When exactly is the earnings? Is it overnight tonight? Okay. So the key thing here will just be, before we see anything from earnings, are we able to beat this high? Actually, are we able to beat this wick? Are you able to see some kind of move that does this and then wicks out and pulls down? That would give you a slight hint of potential upside. Now, I still take this as a 50-50 flip. I still take this as a really risky thing to try to do. Okay? But it did work for AMD. AMD price action told you what? Price action told it did work. Whether you like it or not, you reached a new high, didn't you? Why? Because you went like this. You beat this high, you made this one, towards the end, you made this one, then you gap down, suggesting, oh, yes, sell it, it's going to be bad, it's going to be bad. But you already beat this high, suggesting you still have strength behind it, you're not losing the 5 or anything, and so that would suggest an upward move can come, and we haven't reacted all the way up to, during regular hours, 106. I mean, if you include extended, this was a great move. And this is a good thing. This is a very, very good thing. And as of right now, during regular hours, let's see, are you losing the thing you need to lose to go down? I would overall suggest no. You need to lose all of this. You can come all the way down and use that as support if you tap into the top of it and just see that extend. If you started to break through that level and see resistance come in to take out this level here, you're more worried about those gaps way down low. So I don't think AMD will see a major sell-off now. I think it could later. And I think Carvana is in a similar boat to AMD without the drop down, though. That's the problem here, without the fake out move. And that's why I don't play earnings personally. So I think from the price action, it is suggesting that Carvana would have a decent earnings. But from a risk to reward perspective, is that going to be a very easy thing to do? It's potentially not the environment you like because you're seeing a bunch of divergences there to the upside. If you're someone who trades based on those, it just, earnings won't be your environment. Can we look at GME? Yes. GME most likely will see another breakdown. Very easy to see that GME will most likely break down. Why? You did take out... Ooh, did you take out this wick? Hold on, what's the price here? Low, 25.68. Low, 25.67. You just barely, 1 cent took it out. What I like to do is, if I see a MACD on the 30-minute, right? 30 minutes starting out, right? The shortest time frame I really like. If I see the MACD way down here, I'm always going to assume it needs to go back down to that bottom again at least, which is a bad thing for GME in this case. Why? Because you just broke through this entire zone. If you react up to it and see that as resistance and you break again, and you don't see that thing just snap back and break through that zone, you can easily see this thing continuing the trend. And what this will do is make you end up down towards that, what was it, 25 gap fill? Where's that gap? There it is. Right here. You end up down towards 25. Right? Daily is still suggesting pulling back. Daily is still suggesting pulling back. From this overall move, you can see 25 is just a great level, by the way. You have a ton of confidence in here. You have a decent size retracement. You've lost the zone, but you have a lot of support at that 25 level. You look across, we gapped there before as well. So if you're able to hold 25, I'm very happy with it, but GME is very likely to continue this move unless you see something different, right? What's the something different? Well, divergence that quickly buys it back up, or better case here would be this. That would be the better case for GME. And then you would create your next block right here. You would look for it to get through the center of that and say, if it gets through that, I have pretty much confidence that it can continue. That's how I'm seeing it for the time being. But you have to realize it had 2-hour divergence. We mentioned this like 10 different times last week. And the daily started to follow that. So momentum told you everything you needed to know about GME, and it played out the most probable thing. Squeeze is never the most probable thing, right? You want to look for times where it becomes possible or more probable based on what you're seeing. As of right now, a 2-hour curl down is not a good thing. A 30-minute that deep is not a good thing for a squeeze. A daily scale that just couldn't cross down suggesting pullback is not a good thing. What makes this good again is mainly just whenever that daily is able to curl back up and you make a new high here. So the time for potentially the trade is at that 25 level, and then you see that daily able to confirm up, and you're hoping for those little hints in here. That's how I see it for the time being. And this has a shot, right? Anything can happen with earnings. I'm still a believer of that. I think AMC struggles a lot of the time, but for some reason, GME is selling off before AMC earnings. I don't see really a reason for it necessarily, besides maybe regular market stuff, but it's selling off rather aggressively. AMC starting to see that positivity kick in even more. So this can boost GME. I think they're under the same algorithm. As far as when it squeezes, I think they would squeeze up together. I am that believer. Am I risking millions of dollars in AMC or GME? No. I see a lot of people bring up UnitedHealth. I've seen this brought up multiple times. This is absolutely tanking. You are getting tapering, but you are squeezing to the downside. You know, people ask for what does a squeeze look like? This is a squeeze to the downside, right? You would almost say a crash, right? Just people trying to find that, probably those just investments coming in because you're at extremely low levels. So what I'd look for is more investment side. Where are you at? A low from 2021. You probably, where's 2020 low? I would say that this is risky, but this is an area where you can find support. So people will potentially look at investing here. I would more so be looking down here. I'm going to draw a box, but ignore the center line for it. I would be looking in all of this. I'd be looking in all of that for potential investment opportunity. The weekly scale here is just dropping and dropping and dropping. You're not even oversold yet either. So what most likely could happen here is if you're going to get a reaction now, you reject from all of this, right? Easy resistance to look for, becoming, or support becoming resistance for sure. You do this, you reject, you come back down into these type of areas, and then you try to figure your stuff out down here. Because if you break this, UnitedHealth is screwed. If you break this, UnitedHealth is absolutely screwed. I'm talking screwed. I'm talking 108. I'm talking 65. So I don't think that'll happen personally. But you can't tell me on the monthly scale like this looks great. It has divergence. Man, this thing literally could tank all the way down to here. And look at that. Look what we didn't even know this was here, but there's your 200 for the monthly. So I think you're going to end up getting there personally. We'll see. For the time being, though, the daily chart is suggesting this is going to continue. You might get a reaction soon, but I would rather look for investments towards 250. Volatility for the time being, we want to see that 2-hour cross down. This is kind of what we wanted, weirdly enough. Remember when we mentioned you want to see a slight move up and then see that divergence come in? You do have that divergence point for sure now. It made it for sure. So if the 30-minute crosses here, you're very likely to curl the 2-hour down. If you curl the 2-hour down, you are at least going to fill these gaps. That's how I see it for now. And I think you'll beeline and see if you can fill 2151, which means what for the SPY? The SPY's gearing up for a big move. And if we didn't have FOMC, I think you would have already been seeing it right now. Clove had positive earnings. Let's go check on Clove real quick as that 30 minutes trying to curl up. Woo! Clove, very nice. Good double bottom. Yeah, very good double bottom for the 30-minute. 2-hour, did you have it as well? Yep, 2-hour double bottom is there. Daily scale, did you have the golden setup? Point here. You'd have to say no to that, but yes, extended across. So weirdly enough, this is a form of, it's complex because of this, but it is golden setup. Golden setup is the only thing that I take during earnings. Golden setup is like the highest probable big move finder. And look at that. Bam. Straight into the first points. First point right there. Second point here. Best case scenario, you break out, you fill the gap, you resist, you tap into there, and that's how you get to these highs. That's how this should move, especially if you break out. Break out, fill gap, see if you react past the center of this, and then you'll go bam, maybe boom, to go retest into here. So then you extend up, you reject off, then you head up again. That's how I see it for Clove for the time being. This is golden setup, though. Golden setup's in the full technical analysis course down there. So it's a very, 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 very good thing. It is like a, I would call it an 85% signal. Like, that's how good it is. It does not form often. It does not form often. But normally it does form after volatility has been here for a while. Oh! Amazon, very good. This is what Amazon needed. We have not made it through the center point yet, and that center point is pretty up there. I got to look at a move for this. You want to just see if it breaks through that center point. Oh, that center point is like right on resistance. So this would add up to, we're going to build up to here by Friday close. If we buy up to here by Friday close, watch for the rug over the weekend. Right? If everything is real here, if we get no take backsies from Trump or Bissett, then I think Amazon can get to 198, and then from there, I think you see the Monday, Tuesday sell off. The Monday, Tuesday take profit. The weekend rug. I think that's possible. Okay, so now you're in potential, you're getting into the next block already. Just so you're aware. Just so you're aware, you're getting into the next block, right? We see that because we're just watching this, right? Once you get into that, you just go, okay, we're in this. We're in this. We're in this. Kind of a, it's not going to be easy to draw the block for the upward move. The main block you're paying attention to here is the upside one. This would be good to have on your radar. And then you can kind of check and do your homework using, hindsight. And you can say, okay, what did we do in this case? We fooled around. We fucking found out. Then you came up to that area and you rejected below the center. So you come down. Now you want to see this broken through. That's why taking out this high can be so important, because you literally could see this and that's all you get. I think you'll go deeper personally, because I think you're more making a like big 30-minute block altogether right here. But I have to wait till that fully forms. See what people are talking about here. I just got $1 million hairs. That's what's up. Sitting on my hands is boring. Yeah, their hands are falling asleep if you're sitting on them. I decided to take the risk. We'll see if the reward pans out. I'm just looking for like 573. 573 by Friday. I don't need to make $1 million and get all the way to here. I want to prep myself for the potential for a sell-off on Monday or Tuesday. What's up, G? What time are we getting off today? Today we are getting off in about 40 minutes. Spy Live stock market. Ooh, do you have a channel? I want to look. I want to see your analysis. I like looking at people's analysis. I like to see how they think about stocks, pretty much. That's why I watched Taw's video. I watched some of Taw's video yesterday. Yeah, I'll be here now, and then Spy Live stock market, I will be here later today, around an hour and a half before the close. Please don't ban me. I'm new to this. Why would I ban you? I'm not banning you. Keep things cordial. Keep things good. Ideas are welcome. I won't tell you that something is really stupid unless I fully believe it is really stupid, and do not take offense to it. If I do, it is an opinion based on years of what I've done. I don't think anyone has brought up something that's really stupid. The only really stupid things we always get is just like, where exactly is the SPY going today? And where should I put all my money on a 0 DTE? I'm like, that's kind of stupid, because you have no idea. I have no idea. Warren Buffett has no idea. Bill Ackman has no idea. Tom Lee has no idea. He's just looking at the trend and making a good estimate. It's all probabilities. Really stupid, but in a nice way. Yeah. Just know if I get passionate and I call you out or something like that, I'm never trying to hurt your feelings. I am trying to be helpful. Watch my live channel with my best winning chart. It takes a lot of time. Consistency is the best thing for social media. Yeah, I'll tell you guys a fun fact if you guys want to, advance your marketing business for very cheap. Consistency. is the cheapest thing to do. Yeah, we're gonna be on stream here at the interview or at the question portion. I won't be able to be live for just the drop of the data, and I think they're just gonna keep it the same anyway. Yeah, consistency every single day. Consistency with SEO, consistency with the timing of your videos, consistency with your message, right? What are you doing the videos for? If it's for money, find a different reason. You will not don't do it, find a different reason. You know, you have to, it's weird, but if you do something for a good reason, the results will come. I like it, Mr. Joshua. Same, pretty much same. No, I do 0DT sometimes. I have my DGen account for that, wannabe. I like mainly I've been switching to 4-week, but I've still done 2-week plays here. So I have a 2-week play going on right now. So 2 to 8 weeks is my safety spot. No, I got in right here. Right, this is the price action get in attempt. So the next in, I'll tell you what. I mean, technically, if everything remains good here, we should see like 580 by the end of the week. If that happens, you will have more opportunities. I'll show you. Here, let's do it. It's a daily, but don't hold me to the timing of it, right? We're just looking for direction, how this would overall move. So if this is real news, and the price action will tell you if it's real by breaking through this and then holding up, and you'll see these dips, right? So day traders probably look for that. If I'm a more extended out trader like myself, right? As I do have a position for 571, and I want to see 573 this week, and that would convince me to sell it. That's all I need, right? If I see that next week, that's fine. I might want to hold that for the extension at that point next week. That way I can make great profit. But if this were to happen like this, I believe the next opportunity would be Monday, Tuesday. Then you see a surge into Friday, potential surge into Friday. And then maybe we remain higher for a bit, but overall, like move sideways or just drop right away, honestly, on Monday the 19th. So Monday the 19th, that's where, if you miss out on the entire move, you're probably going to see something like this, right? And if you hold up there and you see everything good and we get some little hints, right? Those little W's, price action hints by testing right in here and able to see that support come in, we'll be watching because I think that's the opportunity for the summer run. And I think that's how you potentially even go test, you might even test all-time high from that. Yeah. So I'm thinking June into July, either we make a double top here or we see more strength, maybe looking for divergence or something. But I think maybe it extends for a little while going into July. Maybe you even make the new all-time high. If we make the new all-time high, I'd be a little bit more worried for these things getting filled. Now, that's all, you know, reading into the future very, very far, right? So we have to understand a lot of hiccups, a lot of things can change. What's the word of the year? Let's see if chat remembers. What is the word of the year for 2025? AMC not looking bad with the signals. Just needs to see good things now. What's the word of the year for 2025? Someone who's been here a while, you guys know it. I know a bunch of you guys know what word we were talking about for all of Christmas. What word were we saying for 2025? Calls on coffee, usually a good idea. Pain? No, it's a longer word than that. Trump? Sort of, but it's about what Trump is causing. What is Trump causing? Have you felt, do you feel like you know everything? Confusion, there it is. Confusion. If you go back to our videos from December, from January, the word of the year for 2025, uncertainty I will accept. Confusion. We are uncertain, therefore we are confused. The word of the year for 2025 is confusion. So do not expect us to have to get to all-time highs this year. That's what we should take into consideration. Why? Because we left behind such massive gaps. These right here, if those get filled, I'm happy. I'm happy. If we don't have to go down to here, that would be great. But I think you have the chance towards my birthday, towards the fall, to come and fill those gaps. And I think this push will convince people you're filling it now. Then you see the run to attempt to make a new all-time high. And then you could just reject from 600 and start a downtrend to get down there in July. That's how I see it. Things look really, really good here, though, now. Like, you see how just that news makes the whole thing change. This is why I was kind of pissed, though. I literally posted my video talking about kind of like what's trap news, what's good news, and then I was mentioning how we just haven't got the solidified news. The market wants that news. You can see it from the reactions right here. You can see it from this reaction right here. But every single time, Trump is kind of over-exaggerating. And then literally 5 minutes after I post my video, we get some news. Oh, God. What's up, Donald? See ya. Have a good day. Trade like water, right, June? Yeah, we take into consideration our thoughts and understand it does not have to play out that way at all. One failure here down to 545. A failure in the next, I would say a failure as in a test of 545 in the next 3 weeks is a bad thing. A test of 550 is different. A filling of the 555 gap is different. It's different, right? And I think we need to include that. Yeah, we need to include that. Yeah, this is more correct. Yeah, it should take you as close to 550, 549.50 here. So now we see if we can scream throughout the day. All we want to see is this. We want to see that scream. I want to see it scream. I want to see it go boom. Then I want it to give it up, weirdly enough. I want it to give it up Thursday, and then we start to turn back in the upward direction, start that positive trend. If we hold up better, we hold up better. How we know if GME is reversing to the upside? If daily momentum starts to come back with you. We did go over price action things for GME a little bit ago. You might have to click back a few times and figure out when we're on GME chart. But if you want to take it very simply, you have everything against you right now for GME. Weirdly enough, AMC has great signals. So, you know, AMC is more saying a big move can come. Can come, not will come. Language is important. Can come, not will come. Has great signals. So it's kind of saying, take a chance on me. But GME is not showing that at all at this point. It's not. So the time you know where GME is going to start trending back up is if you see a 2-hour divergence in the next like week or two, or you see a daily just confirm up for the swing. I'm going to come. Given all this strength before Powell, doesn't that foreshadow a sell? Yes, and that's why I think it's important we see the buys come in now. Because if you just remain here, and this isn't bad, this still wouldn't be bad if you just did this. Right, you sell off with Jerome Powell. Thursday, maybe you continue that sell-off. Then Thursday after hours, you start to see it climb. That's still the 2-hour pullback, right? But you're getting the 30-minute to confirm here. So if we're going to see this, then most likely you're going to see what? You're probably going to reject from not even near that zone. You're probably going to do this and climb very slowly up into about 1 o'clock. Right, about 1 o'clock, then you start to maybe you do tap into that for a second, and then you roll down. You lose this zone, use it as resistance again, and fall back down again. All right, this is a 5-minute zone, by the way. So, but if you came down to these levels and the 2 hours just able to swing up, that's perfectly fine. You want to see some kind of positivity before the event. What you don't want to happen is this, and then you get into that time of day. Where you get that reaction up, it's bait, and then you come down. That's how you get to 545, 550 at least. I still would like the test of 550, but this starts that what? You just keep rolling. We don't like that. So I think bulls want to see, what did we say in the video last night? I want bulls to see positivity right away. And I got what I wanted so far. My AMD fund money did not lead to fun. What I miss? A lot, Ryan. But if this news is good, then we should hit something like, I would say at least 575, but 580 by the end of the week if this news is actually good. And it's not an absolute, there would have to be an absolute flop with FOMC. And most likely that flop would have to happen before FOMC. Good stuff, though. Still negative on the 30-minute. Not good, but we're doing the things we kind of want to. I mean, we can do 5-minute chart stuff now. You're kind of raising the zone up. Yeah, you're kind of raising that zone up. Yeah, you kind of raise it a little bit, but 5 minutes are a lot. 550, that would bring in the might as well of the 50 AMA and the 4 hour, which should be in that price range when the test happens. Exactly. That's the exact, gosh, T-Maker, good point. Yeah, it's a serious retest. 550 to 555 would be the best retest after a massive run. And everyone will think stock market crash. And that is when we could crash, right? We'll still be paying attention to it, but we'll be paying attention to why we're going down, especially, and how low do we get? Because if you break 550, you start to use that as resistance, that's where you start to get in a lot of trouble. What was the news? Talk to China, yeah. It was actually Besant coming out saying, hey, we do have talks scheduled for China tomorrow, Thursday. So I would expect there to be weakness with the Fed, and I would expect that weakness to be shrugged off at some point on Thursday. But are we at the Fed yet? No. So I would like to see more positivity here for the time being. Yeah, this would be very good to figure your shit out here. Look at this. 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests, 4 tests. I don't know if you want 5 and 6, okay? What we want is this high taken out right like now. You want this high taken out by 11:30 my time. So 2 hours. You want this taken out in the next 2 hours is how I see it. You can still dip into here, right? This zone is probably a little bit more extended. It's probably something like this now. It's a 5-minute chart. I'm not the biggest 5-minute chart kind of guy, so trying to use my skills to the full potential here. But this is pretty good from what I see. I mean, we can see this too. Obvious resistances in here. You see all those wicks, then you break through and you see the wicks on the downside now. That's not a bad thing. You just want to see that breakout moment to show you during market hours that this happened. It already happened in the extended. It already happened in extended. So that's already a good sign. It's a better sign to do it in regular hours, in my opinion. Yeah, it is a bullish stance right now, yes. It's been a bullish stance the whole time. It's just bears were doing great work. Bears were doing the work they needed to do, right? That's how it's phrasing here. You're in a very bullish context, but the bears were really stepping up to the plate. And the only thing that would have, that I genuinely believe this, the only thing that stopped the bears in this and why you heard me talking so seriously about 545 the last couple of days, the only thing that I think stopped the bears here was that solidified good news. And I was like, usually you're not going to get it from the Fed, right? So that's how important that news is. Because everyone's talking trade war. War is what? Have you guys watched a war movie? Is it pretty? Are people laughing and hugging each other? No, war is war. What's usually a good sign with war? When both teams come to the table and start talking. That is what? De-escalation. It is a very, very small form. It is like the smallest form of de-escalation we could have had. But look how the market is overall saying what? Well, the market is saying what right out the gate? We want that. It's saying we want that. That is giving us some clearing up of some certainty. That is getting us less confused. We now know that from, if it's real, if it's not a lie again, we have to keep saying that because they lied too many times. If it's not a lie, then we know the market is going to celebrate it even more than what you saw. It's just you have FOMC and things, I think. Yeah, that's actually a good point. I mean, look at this. Remember the pause? Boom. Boom. Bam. You're gonna see a blow off top. Don't you fucking worry. You're gonna see a blow off top. As long as we don't get down to 545 and roll, you're gonna see a blow off top. And if we do get down to 545, like now, like if we just fail all of this right now, if you see this, there's gonna be your blow off top way over there. I don't think that's likely though. With what I'm seeing right now, we would need to see more things to prove that at this point. You just got that kind of disproven literally last night. This was proving it last night. This was proving it, right? This not getting taken out was your only hope, right? But I believe in regular hours you did take it out. But this was kind of like, okay, we're going to see a reaction up, then fall. Right? This was still saying this is bad. The news is the only thing that you had here. And thankfully, I mean, you look at this and you go, well, okay, there's something, so we're going to turn around. And then you look at this and you go, what? We made the lower high, lower low. Now we have a new higher high. New higher high. Okay, so what do you need to see to really prove like, hey, we're going that way? You need to see that new high come back above this. It can dip down into here however it wants. But until I see this at that point taken out, I'm not too scared. Right? It literally changed overnight. Now we got to see if it can do what it needs to do during market hours to remain good. It's that simple. It's good until it's bad. It's good until something changes. It's good until the trend goes negative. Trump good news equals rate cut? No, don't be thinking rate cut. If you get a rate cut, I don't think the timing for it is correct now. You haven't seen the lagging effects of tariffs yet. You get a rate cut during this time, you're at some. You could exacerbate the initial inflation. I'm not saying inflation is going to be sticky here from the tariffs. But I am saying that if you would cut rates during a time where you haven't seen that full lagging effect, and before we have deals in place, you can cause some crazy things to happen on the inflation front. And you could see an initial push 3 times, I would say 2 to 3 times stronger than what tariffs would actually do. That's me reading into it. Yeah, Jack Katz, I think you're more in that environment. Recession is too much on people's brains. But you'll never know. A lot of the time the blow off moment is with rate cuts. But I think like doing it now would signal weakness. I think you would rather see it while you're seeing a surge upward, meaning during the summer rally if we can get it. during the summer rally if we can get it. Right? Once people are in that positive mindset, people are negative mindset on, say, growth, right? GDP came in pretty negative, right? So I don't think cutting the rates after getting that is good. I think you'd rather see like a good reading of GDP. The Fed comes out and says, hey, we're in a good spot now. I think we're going to cut these rates. And hey, the job's been done. We soft landed this bad boy. And then you blow off top, maybe into 2026, if you can get through the fall of 2025, right? Then you get into 2026, and then if you cut the rates and we see that surge, that blow off top, be ready for bad things. I think you have risk in fall of 2025 for it to happen, especially if we blow off right now. Yeah, I think risk is fall 2025, first quarter of 2026, or maybe May, maybe second quarter 2026. And you'll actually, I think you'll actually, here's the best way to put it. If you make it to next May, I think you'll actually see a sell in May and go away. Like, go fucking far away. I really do. You know that everyone talks about that mega crash, and we pay attention to when signals show potential for mega crash, right? We pay attention to when those signals show. For potential mega crashes and things like that. All in here was the risky times. All in here was risky, right? Now you're looking for the time where you're going to see this pretty much this 400 tested, if not 350, 650. And I think that time is coming. And I think it'll be a sell in May and go the hell away and for a couple of years. That's what I think. I think the bear market's coming. I don't think this is it. I think this is bear market like volatility, but I don't think it's bear market. I think that's coming in I mean, unless these tariffs are something unforeseen that is just like the best thing ever, yeah, I don't see it. I don't see us continuing much longer. I think we make a new all-time high, but I just don't think it'll be. I think that'll be the new all-time high for a few years. But hey, that's reading into the future, right? I'm just spouting out my opinions right now. That's in the future. We have to pay attention to if that thing sets up. We have no idea, right? We haven't seen that price yet. We haven't seen that price action yet. Volume's very light the 2 weeks. Yep. You get light volume every single time you bottom. You see big spikes in volume that lead into very, very light volume, and then you just continue in the upward direction. If we see weakness, we'll point it out. The most important thing here is price action, and does the 2-hour curl up? Wolfie boy above 422, that's great. Yeah, we did that yesterday. We showed off the bottom from 2020. We showed off the bottom in 2022. Shoot, what else I don't think we showed off more than that, but we showed you volume. It's exactly the same. Maybe a little weaker here, but it's just like once you make that bottom, you see a surge. You see a surge in volume, and then you see how high that can get you. That tells you more, right? Volume will soak up on the way up. It does not mean, volume is not going to tell you when a mega crash is coming. Price action and your indicators will do a better job than volume, and indicators are lagging. All volume tells you is when it gets smaller. All volume tells you when it gets smaller is it's contracting. And it's about to do what? Well, volume is about to go through a moment of what? Expansion. Right? And then it's going to start doing this. Then it's going to go back into it. It does not tell you direction. It genuinely doesn't. I could show you a 5-minute chart right now and show you how many red big spikes in volume you get at the end of the day and how many times you gap up from this week right here, where volume was super, super, super low, super, super low to the downside. All right, super, super low. You get a 5-minute huge spike in red, and then it just turns up. If you use volume in a different way and you understand it better than me, that's awesome, right? My hat's off to you. I don't think it's the most useful thing for trading. That's all. But if you use it in this way and you know, okay, volume is soaking up, it's kind of like this. If volume is soaking up to a dramatic stance to where it looks like it is about to expand, what is price telling me? What is price telling me? What are my monthly moves telling me? What are my weekly moves telling me? Is there better risk to reward on the probability side in what direction? What is the trend telling me? If volume is soaked up here, it might be because it's FOMC week, right? We can bring up volume. If volume is really soaking up here, what did you just experience as that volume was soaking up? The 2-hour pullback. So if volume comes back in, price action right now would tell you, and the 2-hour MACD would tell you, you are very likely to see that go in the upward direction. Just because volume soaks up and the move is up, people like to mention that all the time and they get it wrong pretty much 50% of the time. Right? All it is telling you is we are tight. It's like Bollinger Bands. All it's telling you is you're tight and you're about to expand. Your job is to do your research in here, understand the price action, understand that you just got good news, and say, where is that volume going to exceed? Where is that going to expand to? Well, right now, you are in a positive trend. So we would have to assume, right? Assume. You are assuming at this point. You're kind of guessing because we're talking about volume. As volume tightens up, that trend will continue. We don't want to fight the trend unless it gives us a reason to fight the trend. A reason to fight the trend is when it gets down deep, rolls up, and then fails. Then we can read into if volume is lighter here and say a big move can come. Right now, the trend is positive. Until you see more price action, it's just chilling. Okay, we knocked on the door the 5th time. Not a good thing, in my opinion. Volume really soaking up here. But where is the trend? It's positive. We could see that sell-off, and we might have to react to it. We understand. Right? We understand that on the 5-minute, you have this little bit of funkiness going on here, right? We understand that. You have a little divergence right here. That means that we could go down and fill this gap. Do I want to fill that gap? No, I want to leave that shit behind personally. Yeah, not the best. Next stop, bottom of the zone. 560.10. Yeah, not good. See, that's not good. Not good. Bad. Bad right now. We need to see probably this now. It depends on if this is unfinished business and they just want to sweep and get that real quick. Yeah, you're still in that. You're still, remember yesterday? Remember yesterday? Ping pong? Kind of ping pong? You're still ping ponging. I would say sideways before Fed, not good. Yeah, I would say sideways, not good. There's the 560. It can come down to the whole number. We'll see. Now we see if this was still originally the test here. Coming down to here, we need to probably see this. We need to see this turn into resistance if we want to do this first. The gap is unfortunate, actually. We're going to take care of that first. Maybe 555 still open there. So this is not what you really want to see before the Fed, in my opinion. You are about to hit kind of line in the sand type areas. This is your line in the sand. This is okay. It's not fan-freaking-tastic. It's okay. This is fine. This is fine. This starts to be not fine. This is worst case. Because you see how we're making a big block, right? So no, you're gonna fill that gap. You're right towards it. We can bounce there again. This is not what you want to see though. I don't think this is what you want to see. Look at that 5 minute just bleeding. 30 minutes still turned up. Really paying attention to if we can hold here. Right, we're turning this into a big block. This is gonna be like a 15 or even a 30-minute block. Yeah, it's gonna be a 30-minute. Well, it depends on options expiration and the positioning of Wall Street and whales during options expiration next week as well. If options expiration is still down, options expiration is still overall down for those players, then you can see pretty much worse. That's the bad part. In this area, it should be big move up into OPEX or big move down into OPEX, and you have the tilt to the bulls. The bears are slowly still able to try and take control. 545, so now we gotta see. I don't know if news was really said there. Whoa, 228 votes. What the... It popped up all of a sudden. What's going on with the Googmeister? Looking at the 30-minute reject here. Starting to curl down. That's... Oof. Especially in the last 2 minutes here. That means they might take care of the gap now. Google bloodbath on Google. What the hell is going on with Googs? Trying to look. Google. I'm hearing about some. What's Apple doing with that? Okay. So for Google, it seems like there was some. It seems like there was some comments here. Google extends its 18 billion bond sale in Europe overnight. Probably nothing. This guy, probably nothing. Definitely not a debt crisis. Google sells 95% stake of. Oh, that was on May 2nd, but CrowdStrike. Google dumps 90% of their shares held for, I think, CrowdStrike just a week ago. Here we go. Hmm. Yeah, we might head to bottom of zone. Hmm. I don't know. This might be getting down to the bottom of the zone. We might wipe out all of this. This means Wall Street might have been taken off guard by this. Then boom. Give it all back. They want to be a part of it. Very interesting. Overreaction. I think that you're going to give up that full extended, possibly give up that entire move. Because I know the gaps from here, but you know where price was when this actually happened was down here. We'll see. But it's getting hammered right now. It's good to fill the gap. That means you have a chance, but understand that this is very available. Yeah, gap closed. But the move happened from down here. So if we're going to give up the entire move, so Wall Street can participate, so more big players can participate, we'll see if that's able to hold here. If you do this, though, it's not a good thing. All right. Damn. Of course, I have to get off, too. God damn it. I want to sit and watch with you guys to see these reactions in here. We'll look for little things. What we're kind of looking for here is, do we give up the entire move? Do we give up the entire move here? We are I'm expecting not so good things from FOMC. So us being down here would be a rough spot. So bears are still doing what bears need to do at this moment. This is still there. It's just you're giving up too much of the move. I mean, I guess you could say there's 5-minute divergence here. Maybe the gap fill is all you need. I think gap fill or revisiting down here, you still have a chance. Once you start to break out, do this, that's where it starts to get real risky. That's how I'd put it at the end of this video. Okay, very good though. Fill the gap, see if something happens here. Mainly looking for breakouts, right? You want to see it during the day. I want to see this during the day. We can do that with FOMC. Right, anytime we can get up to here before FOMC is good, you sell off, maybe even more with FOMC. But yeah, this is not necessarily what you want to see right now for the continuation of that big spike here. Yeah, not necessarily what you want to see. So we'll be back live later today for Jerome Powell, an hour and a half before the close. This Apple explores AI search. Yeah, I saw the Apple thing. That's why I checked on Apple after someone asked about Google. So for the time being, we're going to be live later today with Jerome Powell, and then we'll be here for the Power Hour stream. So I will be live later on today, and we can see what price action looks like around that time. That'd be very, very good. This is an area where you can bounce from. A bounce from this level. However, if it's able to get high up, that's good. But right now it's pointing down and going negative. So that means be open to this. Be open to this. Pretty much you're open to this down here. Right? You don't want to lose this zone. I don't think you want to lose this zone. I might even extend it just to include the wick here. Yeah, you don't want to lose this zone right here. That might be too far. Put it right there. So we don't want to lose this area here. It starts to add up to what? Projections to take you down to what? The weekly expected move. This is still the 2-hour trade showing its face. The 2-hour patience trade is what we'll call it. Price action was behaving well, like it was wanting to do it, but it seems funky stuff from big money coming in here because I don't believe this should be terrible. The Google news is well-timed, I'll put it that way. So still looking for potential for the 2-hour trade down in these levels. The door is still open now. The door is still open now to 550. You did not see it yet during market hours to tell you like, hey, we're shutting that door for now. So hopefully this is your area you bounce from with the gap fill. If not there, you're paying attention to like 557 on the dot. 557 on the dot would be good. So I'll be back live later today. I hope that today you guys were able to learn a little something or just maybe had some fun in the chat. That's always a good thing. But I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I will see you guys in a little bit here in a few hours for the close and for some Jerome Powell, our favorite guy ever. Our favorite guy ever. The best guy in the world. You think 555? I think 555 still makes sense now. I'd look for the gap fill here, and I'd look for that 557. If you start to roll after an upward move from 557, though, you got to keep 555 on the table. So thank you guys for being here today. John, thank you. I appreciate you guys coming in. Thank you guys for liking, subscribing, doing all that good stuff, and I will see you guys later today. So stay safe out there, trade like water, and always be understanding your risk, right? Your risk, your risk, your risk. And then you're going, hey, I'll make a plan for my trade if all my rules, all my reasons are there. I'll make a plan for that trade, and then I'll make a plan for if that trade goes wrong. Bye-bye. See you later. Peace out.